with the help of body-worn video cameras.
Police officers!
Get off me! Stay down! Huh?
The new eyes of the law.
Crashed. Got the runner.
Out the car! Now! Yeah!
Cops on the front line in Nottinghamshire tackle all types of emergencies.
To me, hands up.
What have I done? What have I done?
And crack down on all kinds of crime.
More and more plants, every room we go to.
They are the Bodycam Squad. Coming up,
Go back!
a man's reported to be on the loose with a chainsaw
Point containment on the house, front and rear as best they can.
and allegedly making threats to kill. A car pursuit results in a crash,
Get out of the car!
forcing an officer to draw his taser,
Out the car! Now!
and cops flood the Bilborough estate on the hunt for suspected career criminals.
That's that way then.
The dog may be able to pick up a track.
Nottinghamshire Police Force has nearly 3,200 officers and staff, and Stu Hazard is one of their longest-serving PCs. Over his 29 years of service, he's been a traffic cop, a response cop, and a firearms officer.
Front seat passenger, open the door very, very slowly. Do it now.
After nearly 30 years on the job, Stu's seen a dramatic gear change in violent crime, and the weapons the criminals are now prepared to use.
Things have definitely changed. Violent crime, I think there certainly appears to be more of it. There certainly seems to be a lot more knife crime about, but there just seems to be absolutely no respect for anybody nowadays. They don't even respect themselves. There's certainly no respect for the police from certain quarters. What a good lad. This is nothing like the job I joined. Absolutely nothing like the job I joined.
Now a dog handler, Stu's on patrol with police dog Morse, and an emergency call has just come through from Police HQ.
There is information that's come in reporting Dad is rampaging in the house. He's making numerous threats.
A man's reported to be blockading his family in a house in the Dunkirk area.
Threats to kill towards family members, and he has taken a chainsaw into the living room with him.
The suspect's allegedly making threats to kill his wife and children.
I had a call, it was a domestic situation where a man's armed with potentially armed with a chainsaw.
With 2 women killed every week by a current or former partner in England and Wales, and domestic violence on the increase, there's no time to waste. The suspect's eldest son, who called 999, is still on the line to the control room.
The lead of the caller is still on the 3rd floor. Potentially his mother and also his 1-year-old brother on the 2nd floor, and he believes that Dad may well be on the ground floor, but that isn't confirmed.
All available cops in Nottingham are rushing to the scene. The caller is now claiming that his dad's threats are escalating.
He has said that if the police attempt, that he's going to hurt them. So it's gone to armed authority.
Where somebody's holding the family with a chainsaw, there's all sorts of thoughts going through your mind. We're going to have to be really careful here, because if a chap comes at you with a chainsaw, the damage he can do, or it might go the other way. Our arrival might inspire him then to attack his family with it.
The cops fear lives could be at risk. Firearms officers are on their way, and Stu's police dog will offer vital support.
We go to every firearms incident. We'd want a police dog there for what we call a less than lethal option. So if somebody wants to come and fight and they've not got weapons, then we're not going to shoot them. But we've also obviously got the dog there, and should they decide to run off, we've also got the option of using the dog to detain them.
At the address, the cops have closed off the street to ensure the public are kept safe, and the suspect can't escape if he's still in the house.
Point containment on the house, front and rear as best they can.
Firearms officers are unsure where the suspect is, but with his wife and children potentially in danger, they're approaching the house. They're preparing to cut their way in.
Go back! that way!
While Stu's standing by with Morse in case the man armed with a chainsaw tries to make a run for it. The cops are ready to go in. When all of a sudden, the suspect's visibly upset wife and baby son appear. Her son, who called 999, joins her. He thinks his dad's already fled.
It was just me, mum, little brother and dad, but I don't know where dad is.
Lee, my son says he's gone off in a car, mum says he's gone off in a car as well. You just get the details of that.
The suspect's wife thinks he's gone, but the cops need to check the house in case he's hiding inside. With alleged threats made to harm police officers, they're sending Morse in first.
Man in the building, police officer with a dog. Show yourself now, you've been warned, it's your last chance.
Good lad. Get on, find him.
If the suspect is in the house and armed with a chainsaw, Morse could be in danger.
You love your dogs, you spend lots and lots of time with the dogs. And yes, you do think of their safety, but you've always got to bear in mind at the end of the day, he's not a pet. He is a police dog. He's trained for a purpose. And the ultimate is that you know one day you might have to sacrifice that dog for the safety of somebody else.
After a thorough search of the property, Morse is safe.
Quite happy. The dog's been in their search, there's no indication, so now the team are going in just to search, but we believe he's gone anyway, but nevertheless, they've still got to search it.
It soon becomes clear that the suspect escaped before the cops arrived, taking his chainsaw with him. And he's now on the loose on the streets of Nottingham.
We've got a bloke with a chainsaw, and we've got to find him and stop him from getting to anybody else.
Stu, along with all available units, trawl Nottingham on the manhunt. After 2 hours, there's an update. The cops have received intel that the suspect's also armed with a shotgun.
This chap is supposed to be in possession of a chainsaw and now a shotgun. We don't know if the wider public are in danger from this chap. We don't know what his mental state's like. He can do a lot of damage with that. So everybody then becomes a target, potentially. We've got to stop him at all costs. Even if it means putting ourselves on the line, we have got to stop him.
But will Stu and the firearms team track down the suspect before he causes serious harm?
Now authorised armed status again, because this bloke made threats to kill.
In the Dunkirk area of Nottingham, dog handler Stu and firearms cops race to an address after a man allegedly made threats towards his family with a chainsaw.
Man in the building, police officer with a dog. Show yourself now, you've been warned, it's your last chance.
But the potentially dangerous suspect escaped before the cops arrived.
It was just me, mum, little brother and dad, but I don't know where dad is.
And now he's on the loose with a chainsaw and a shotgun. Police crews all over Nottingham, including firearms units, have been hunting the suspect for hours. And now, there's an update.
Just information as a black BMW.
The suspect is driving a black BMW X5, and an automatic number plate recognition camera has flagged up that he's in the area.
So now we've got an ANPR activation on that vehicle. The BMW, and they've now authorised armed status again, because this bloke made threats to kill. So it's heading back towards Nottingham.
Stu's gut instinct is telling him that the suspect's driving back towards his family home.
We've got to take it that he's going home for one reason. If he's got a shotgun in the car and he's got his chainsaw in the car that he's already threatened his family with allegedly, then he's only going to go home for one thing. And we have to neutralise that threat before he gets back to his home address, because the harm that he could do when he gets back with a shotgun or chainsaw It just doesn't bear thinking about, and we've got to stop him at all costs. Even if it means putting ourselves on the line, we have got to stop him.
Stu's parking off the main road that leads to the family home in his unmarked Skoda that's perfect for surveillance.
If he's coming from the Beeston direction, the most natural way would be along this road in front of us at the moment. If we see him coming down here, then we can give the crews the early heads up.
Minutes later, the suspect's black BMW X5 crosses Stu's path in the rush hour traffic.
It's a near side lane of 2.
Stu calls in the sighting to the officer in charge of the operation.
Delta 35, just keep it safe distance and just keep it on the website, please.
He gets the go-ahead to trail the BMW covertly until the firearms crews take over closer to the suspect's home.
We're obviously going to be looking at a preemptive pursuit tactic in order to stop this vehicle.
Yeah, receive that, sir.
They're taking no chances. A hard-arm stop has been authorised, only used in extreme circumstances. The firearms unit plan to box in the BMW with their vehicles and approach the suspect with guns drawn.
Delta 35, it's approaching the island in a near side lane of 3 at the island, committed to the island. Stand by, it's not one, it's the second, and for the team's information, it's got a rear near side light out.
Can we confirm the subject is driving?
It's hard to tell because his windows are steamed up.
For the hard-arm stop tactics to work, they need to wait until the BMW leaves rush hour traffic and the firearms crew are in position. It's up to Stu to keep on the suspect's tail without him noticing.
Delta 35, we've got an offside indication, it's still in heavy traffic.
Stu's keeping the commanding officer updated on the BMW's movements.
Connect this yield and we'll drop in behind it.
Yes, got you, Jim.
If the suspect turns right, armed officers are lying in wait and ready to strike with the hard-arm stop.
Still offside indication, it's slow-moving traffic, approaching street to the offside.
Get your estimate got behind the subject vehicle.
Firearms officers pull in behind the BMW and there's no time to waste.
Strike.
Within seconds, the suspect is boxed in.
Oh, please! Switch off your engine! Switch off your engine!
He's held at gunpoint as Stu gets police dog Razor ready as backup.
Put the keys on the room. Step out of the vehicle. Show us hands at all times, do you understand? Face those officers to your right.
No, wrong, please. Stay there.
So far, the suspect's complying.
Well, just keep your hands on there. You'll come to no harm, mate. All right, you understand, mate? Hey, you're fucking having that up, mate. But you're about to come to her what?
The shock of the hard stop is wearing off, and the suspect's getting angry.
Oh, mate, fucking shoot that. What? Shoot that. Calm down, mate. Yeah, mate. Fucking shoot that.
Found a chainsaw in the car, and also there's a shotgun in the vehicle as well.
The gun's not loaded, it's broken down into its 3 component parts, so it's safe.
There's relief all round that the suspect and his weapons are off the streets.
It starts to kick off a little bit, but there's no dramas with it. Not injured at all. There's no injuries on the police side, so another good result. And the threat has been neutralised.
After spending time in prison on remand, the man was convicted of affray and possession of a firearm. He was sentenced to a 15-month suspended prison sentence. His shotgun was seized and destroyed. The charges of threats to kill and possession of a firearm with intent to cause fear, to which he pleaded not guilty, were ordered to remain on file. Whilst evading police earlier in the day, he also committed a series of motoring offences and was found to be 3 times over the drink-drive limit. He was disqualified from driving for 36 months and ordered to pay a £140 victim surcharge. Broxtowe area of Nottingham. PC's Ian Blackstock and Matt Daly have a combined 27 years of policing under their belts. But still, expect the unexpected, especially on a night shift. They're heading to the station when they spot a Mini coming towards them with lights off, then suddenly coming on.
Usually it's an indication, no lights in the car, going a bit quick. It was that time of night, so it might be a drink driver or something.
Now the lights are on, but Ian and Matt want to have a word with the driver. Spinning round, Ian spots that the driver is a female, but she's clocked the cops and floors it, taking off at high speed in a 30 zone.
We're too far away, it's back to us now towards Beechdale.
There was no stopping there. I've never had a female not stop, so on this occasion it was a first for me.
Catching up with the Mini, the cops switch on their blues, but the woman's still refusing to stop.
I'm trying to stop it now.
Straight away, possibly is it stolen? Has she got something in the car, say a weapon, or is there some drugs, or either she wanted? You've got all these different things going through your mind.
It looks like the reckless driver has got away, until they turn the corner. The car's crashed.
It's crashed.
Fearing the woman might drive off again, Ian's taking no chances and draws his taser.
Get out on the floor! On the floor!
She eventually slips out of the car onto the road.
Out! What on earth are you doing? Out the car! Now!
But the male passenger is ignoring the cop's instructions. It's not clear if he's dangerous.
Out the car!
You're going to try and kill someone with the manner of your driving.
Right floor!
Ian recognises the passenger. He's a man he's dealt with before and switches on his Bodycam to record his every move. Until he gets him in handcuffs, Ian's containing him with his taser. The 50,000-volt stun gun can render a person immobile, and Ian's got its red laser dot trained on the man's chest.
Stay where you are! I'm not causing a threat to you, so don't cause a threat to me!
Stay where you are!
I'm not causing a threat to you, so don't cause a threat to me! I'm doing nothing wrong.
It was someone who I dealt with previously on a number of occasions. I know him to be anti-police, anti-myself, because we've had a few falling outs in the past. And he's aggressive, he will flare up, start making various threats. So that's the reason why he was red dotted.
I'm not going to run off.
Stay where you are! Stay where you are!
Ian only completed taser training 2 months ago, and this is the first time he's had to use it on the job.
The lady was still in the driver's seat. She didn't cooperate. Out! Now! So that's the reason why taser was drawn. I wasn't going to put myself at risk by reaching in the car for all the car keys. Unfortunately, I've lost officers before, leaning into cars.
Ian knows it can be life-threatening to lean into cars because there's always a danger the driver could speed off.
Taser gives me a great advantage on that. It gives me space, it gives me time, and a great tactical option.
With both suspects in cuffs, Ian and Matt need to get to the bottom of why the driver refused to stop, but the passenger's getting lippy.
Just take a seat in the back of my car.
Fuck off back in and take back in the car.
You will take a seat in the back of my car.
I'm not authorised.
Don't take me for a muppet. Hey, don't take me for a fucking Mongol, idiot. Hey.
Seat in that car.
The mouthy man's safe in the back of the squad car, leaving Ian and Matt to deal with the female driver.
It's no what put me on camera. I don't care. Rocker, you what? Listen, he's pissed me off.
Have you got the VRM?
It's me. Arrest me. Do what you're doing.
Backup arrives, and the woman needs to be breathalyzed before being taken to custody.
What are you doing?
What, are you in the police car?
Can I get my phones and stuff,
No.
please, out the car?
No.
What do you mean, no?
No!
Surprisingly, the argumentative woman starts to cooperate.
Because you've told me that you've had a drink, because you've told me you're the driver of that vehicle that's crashed as well, I'm going to require you to provide me with a specimen of breath, okay? What you should do is make a tight seal with your lips around that and blow until I tell you to stop. Blow, 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 stop. Perfect, okay? What that's going to do now, it's going to analyse your breath, all right? And then it'll come up with a reading, all right? Okay, but as you can see on there, that says 57, which is a fail. The legal limit's 35, okay? So for that reason, I'm further arresting you on suspicion of driving a motor vehicle whilst over the prescribed limit of alcohol, okay?
An update from the control room reveals the woman has no insurance, MOT, or licence. And unable to establish if she's the registered keeper, they suspect the car could be stolen.
The offences just keep on adding. She's over a drink drive limit as well. Well, she's going to be arrested, suspicion of it being stolen. Dangerous driving, failing to stop. Yeah, a long list of offences she's created. With driving like that, would you give her a licence? I don't think so. Job's a gun.
But the drama's far from over.
Oi, Nobbin! Oi!
Until the cops find out if the car's stolen,
Get out of the fucking car, man.
the passenger also needs to be taken to custody.
What am I under arrest for?
Suspicion of theft of that motor
Hey,
vehicle.
that car's not stolen.
Neither of you are the registered keeper of it.
So what?
But his behaviour is becoming menacing.
I'm gonna bite your face off. So you're arresting me for a car that's not nicked? Hey, back off. Hey, I'll bite your face off, Muppet. Hey, that's how. Call your friends. Call your friends. Call your friends. Hey, call your fucking friends. Hey, call your fucking friends. But you know the car's not fucking nicked.
With the man now threatening to bite, it's not safe to transport him in the car.
Ah! Stop with your bullshit and get the fuck off me. Horrible bastard.
The man's attitude is likely to get him into more trouble.
Hope I don't see none of you in public. I'll kick your kid in the head. I swear down. No drama. No drama. I will kick your kid in the head.
Anything, but may I defend?
Hope I never clocked you with your missus. Because I will knock you out in front of her. Don't think I'll knock you out. Don't think I won't write you off. Hey, don't think I will not knock you out when I see you with your missus. Watch this, you fucking prick.
Simon, there's
Fuck
members
off.
of the public watching
Fuck
all
off.
of this. They
I don't give
want
a
to hear your
fuck.
abuse.
Fuck off.
Eventually, the man runs out of threatening swear words.
You fucking sausage.
The van arrives to take the man to custody,
When I put you.
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
and he's still making threats.
You see your face. Hey, you see your fucking face. You see your fucking face.
Can we down in the van with him?
We'll follow you.
13 years into this career and I've had every threat under the sun.
Hey, hide your face, bro. It's all absolute mongrels. Hope I don't see your face again.
I've had people threaten my wife, my kids, my mum, my dad, my brothers, sisters. I've had people threaten to dig up my grandma and rape her. I've had, people threatening to beat up my husband and everything. Every possible thing you can imagine, I've had it all. So it's water off a duck's back by and large.
I will knock you clean out. I'll make you that promise. When I see you with your missus, watch what I do to you. When I see you in Mansfield, McCarthy or wherever you are, I will knock you clean out.
There's no shock left anymore because you've heard it all before. In the grander scheme of things, one of the worst things he did say tonight was he called me a sausage.
The car turned out not to be stolen, but the woman pleaded guilty to drink driving and having no licence or insurance. She was disqualified from driving for 22 months and ordered to pay fines and costs totalling £335. Her male friend was charged with threatening behaviour and 2 weeks later was also arrested for drink driving and driving whilst disqualified. He too was convicted and was banned from driving for 51 months. Coming up, a game of hide and seek for the cops and robbers on the Bilborough estate.
And the dog unit's tracked him over certain gardens.
Here we are.
And a mystery unfolds when both drivers from a two-car smash disappear.
Highly illegal, highly aggressive.
In Broxtowe, PC Keith Parks is starting his shift with Special Constable Josh Godfrey. Keith has a special skill that gives him the edge over the lawbreakers on his patch. Only between 1% and 2% of the population are reported to have super recogniser ability, and Keith's thought to be one of them.
I do recognise people once I've seen a face. I never forget it, and that I can recognise anyone on the street and name them, if I've had just minor dealings with.
Minutes into their shift, there's a call out.
What car is it?
Ford S-Max, 61 plate.
This car that's been lost, where was it last seen?
It was Derbyshire officers behind it.
After pursuing a black S-Max that failed to stop, Derbyshire police have lost it and it's now in Nottingham. The S-Max is stolen and is suspected of being linked to a number of crimes. It was last seen heading towards Keith's patch on the Bilborough estate near Broxtowe.
Making our way to the estate. It could be parked up, it could be, or it could be still moving. So the more cops get to the area, the better chance we'll have of catching it.
With over 12 years in the job, Keith's familiar with the local thieves and their tactics. And he knows if the occupants of the S-Max are local, finding them will be a challenge.
If they go back to their home estate, they can ditch the car and they can jump into friends' houses or even relatives. It makes it easy for them to escape.
Ian's also on the hunt for the stolen car.
What kind of theft was it involved in?
Derbyshire's saying it's been involved in theft. Somebody had tools stolen from the back of his van whilst parked.
Driving towards the area where the car was last seen, Ian strikes it lucky.
Hey, can you find us a dog, please? We've just found this vehicle that's failed to stop for Derbyshire. It's located Westwick Road.
But the occupants of the car are long gone.
It's clearly been dumped. We've got officers coming towards us at the moment to put a dog around it.
Ian needs to stay in his car to avoid confusing the police dog with his scent.
It's not been here that long, so the dog may be able to pick up a track in the general direction of who's had it, really.
The suspects are thought to be big-time thieves, and the cops are out in force to find them. The police helicopter is scanning the estate from above. The dog is off on a track, and Keith, with dozens of local officers, are flooding the area, searching gardens and sheds. Ian's trying to find clues about the suspects and believes they're professionals.
We are going through a number of keyless thefts where the keys haven't been taken, but then we come across the vehicle at a later date. The criminals and the baddies know how to start it up.
He suspects the loot in the back is from the earlier van theft.
You can see it's full of stolen tools. I think it's been involved in crime this morning.
The car will be forensically examined to try and find out who was driving it. And the contents of the boot suggests they're looking for organised criminals.
A number of different identities, well, 3 at least. I guess one's going to be a stolen vehicle, and we'll see what the others are.
Suddenly, there's a report that 2 intruders have been seen in someone's garage.
That's that way then.
They could be the people they're looking for.
I reckon they haven't just kicked this open.
But they've missed the suspects by seconds.
And the dog unit's tracked them over certain gardens. So we've got officers in the opposite gardens to where we are. Now it's a case of hide and seek, I believe.
The trail has gone cold for the dog, and Keith thinks the suspects are already hiding inside a house. Back with the abandoned car, Ian's flagged down by a helpful member of the public.
Right, chap.
They ran up there, through the gardens up there.
Oh, up there?
Yeah, they're on my cameras.
Ah, fabulous.
The safety-conscious resident capturing the suspects on his home CCTV could be the breakthrough the cops are looking for.
Did we get descriptions, Blackstock?
He's got him on CCTV. From a...
The team are pinning their hopes on Keith, who never forgets a face, identifying the suspects.
I'm just going to go and have a look, see if I recognise the offenders. Hello, sir, you all right? Can I just view your CCTV?
If we can identify someone from that, then it'll give us a head start for cross-matching DNA, fingerprints to it. All is not lost.
Within seconds...
Yeah.
Who's going to need
I know
to
that is.
Yeah. First one.
Yeah.
Keith identifies the 2 men caught on CCTV who were running away from police.
Right, thank you. So,
Probably a little skill that I may have, that I was able to view the CCTV and instantly recognise as 2 career criminals from Broxtowe area.
they think they've got away, so now it'll be a case of putting it together and going to fetch them at their home address.
Another one gone. So a very good result. Cross-border vehicle that's been committing crime on both Derbyshire and Nottinghamshire. It was initially lost by Derbyshire, but obviously found by Nottinghamshire's finest, and now back to its rightful keeper.
Now it's only a matter of time before Keith and Ian catch the two career criminals and put them behind bars. On a typical day in Nottingham, the police attend around 26 accidents on the roads. Now Ian's double-crewed with PC Cole Walker, and they're racing to a car crash on the dual carriageway on the outskirts of Broxtowe.
Job we're going to is an RTC.
Reports are coming through that the drivers of the crash cars are displaying a severe case of road rage.
It's not the usual type RTC. One of the drivers is now smashing the other car up with a baseball bat.
It's unclear if anyone's injured, but Ian and Carl need to be ready for anything.
Debris in the road, folk now fighting in the street. So, taser's been authorised. Here we are.
A black Fiesta and a silver Golf have suffered serious damage, but it's a mystery where the drivers have gone. A man who lives nearby saw the aftermath of the smash.
One of them jumped out of the car and started smashing the silver Golf for. I don't really get that.
Two-car RTC. Males have jumped out and started attacking each other, all gone in different directions.
The man who called 999 is still on the scene and saw the drivers running off.
We saw three lads run up. One was a black guy, quite tall. Didn't really see the other two people, but they were just running in that direction.
You've not seen them fight with each other?
No, my son thinks the larger guy was carrying some kind of shovel or some kind of stick or something.
Where's this? 65.
With the amount of damage suffered to both the Fiesta and Golf after the smash, Ian's beginning to think there's more to this than a spontaneous case of road rage.
It's probably a baseball bat. Baseball bat or a hammer or something to that effect.
And a cursory search of the black Fiesta backs up Ian's hunch.
Within the Fiesta is a knife on the front of the driver's footwell. Suspects were seen with weapons. It's a lock knife, a very sharp, ready-to-go lock knife. It was just in the driver's footwell. Highly illegal, highly aggressive.
And what he spots next means Ian's search for the driver is now urgent.
Just have a look in the driver's door, there's a little speck of blood.
He needs to find this driver immediately to check if he's injured.
The intention now is to go and search the local address where the suspects may or may not have gone to. The car is registered to an address just up there.
The silver Golf's registered to an address nearby.
I believe the male from this RTC may be forcing entry to look at this lad's injuries.
Coming up, inside the house, Ian's in for a surprise.
There's a bit of a whiff of weed, isn't there?
And cops are called out to old age pensioners.
What's your name? No. You don't know your name? Oh dear.
Who have had one too many for the road.
I'm trying to get home. That's all I want to do is go home.
Is she a bit drunk?
Yeah.
In Broxtowe, two drivers have crashed into each other before smashing each other's cars up with baseball bats before making off.
Two-car RTC, males have jumped out and started attacking each other, all gone in different directions.
After finding a lock knife in one of the cars, Ian needs to make sure the drivers are unharmed.
Just have a look in the driver's door, there's a little speck of blood. We're going to be knocking on.
Now at an address where one of the cars is registered, there's only a woman at home.
We just need to search it, make sure it's not injured.
There's no sign of the suspect, but Ian smells something suspicious.
There's a bit of a whiff of weed, isn't there?
Smoking, my lad, because I do.
Or smoke it, or rose it. There's a strong smell.
Just smoke it there.
How much do you smoke? There's a bit of weed here. So,
Oh, God.
A look in the bedroom turns up a bag of cannabis, and Ian keeps following his nose.
looks like he might be dealing from here as well, look.
He's not dealing from here, mate. I've let you in the house, right?
Well, we were coming anyway.
But he hasn't done anything wrong.
A peek in the loft turns up another surprise.
Mum, so what are we doing with this then?
There's no more cannabis, but there is cannabis growing equipment.
We're getting rid of it, all the stuff in the loft.
Well, it's not mine to move, is it?
Whose is it?
Not mine.
Whose house is it?
It's mine.
Ian's pleased with his accidental discovery.
Within the loft is a cannabis growing system. That's just been disclaimed to Notts Police by the occupant. She didn't know it was there, had no idea it was there. Officer, it's my, whose house is it? My house. And yes, you can quite happily take that away, officers.
Most people creating cannabis grows need to be amateur electricians.
While they're seizing the bag of cannabis from the bedroom and the growing equipment from the loft, more details are coming through from the control room about the suspects.
The males out of the Silver Gulf are linked to the supply of drugs within the local area. We've found the cannabis grow tent in the loft. There's a quantity of cannabis seized within the address as well.
Ian's got his own theory about what took place earlier, and he doesn't think the car crash was accidental.
It doesn't look like the initial call of accident in the middle of the road. It looks like they've rammed each other and made off. Front badge off the Volkswagen Golf. Funny enough, it's directly next to the Fiesta on the floor.
A further search of the black Fiesta uncovers more evidence.
A bag of green vegetable matter, or on professional opinion, it's cannabis.
The two cars are taken away and will be forensically tested. A lethal knife and illegal drugs are off the streets, and Ian now has two new suspected drug dealers on his radar.
So we've got a few photos to be having a look through. We've got a knife as well that can go fingerprinting and DNA. Criminals in general are quite tricky. We do, some of them make it a lot easier for us, some of them make us work for us money, but that's what we get paid for. That's what we do best, and that's what I enjoy doing.
The driver of the Silver Golf was found guilty of possession of cannabis and was ordered to pay £195 in fines and costs. There was no further action taken for possessing the cannabis growing equipment. The driver of the black Fiesta was never found, so no further action could be taken for the possession of the lock knife and small bag of cannabis discovered in his car. Across Nottingham, calls to police increase at the weekends, and the incidents are often fueled by alcohol. It's 3 a.m. on Saturday night, and PCs Drew Fenn and James Gill are blue lighting to an incident on the main road that runs through Netherfield.
We've been asked to attend an immediate incident. It's a report of a suspicious male and female walking down the street. Now females appearing to be lying in the road.
It sounds like the woman lying on the road could be drunk, but James and Drew need to make sure it isn't anything more sinister.
We've had a bit of an update from the caller, who said that the couple have actually been there for a couple of hours. So just to make sure that nothing untoward is happening, we're going to travel out there, see what we've got, have a chat with them, make sure there's been no arguments, offences, any kind of problems. The fact that they've been lying in the street for 2 hours is slightly concerning. People usually manage to stagger home a little bit quicker than 2 hours.
An ambulance has stopped to offer the woman help, but her partner appears to be sending it away. They're not James's usual demographic of weekend revellers.
Hello. Hello, madam, you all right?
They were in their 60s, if I recall right. Yeah, you don't get many calls to people in their 60s.
What's your name?
I don't know.
You don't know your name? Oh dear. What's up? What's the problem?
It's quite clear that she was absolutely bladdered. You know, she couldn't even stand up. She was so drunk, where they were pretty much past being able to handle any kind of conversation.
The woman is soaking. James suspects she's been lying in a puddle.
You're cold? I'm not bloody surprised. How long have you been here? We've been told you've been here for a couple of hours now. OK, whereabouts do you live?
Netherfield.
We're in Netherfield, aren't we? Whereabouts in Netherfield?
She was freezing cold to the touch. Now, I'm not saying she's elderly by any stretch, but if she has been outside in the cold weather for that long, from a health perspective alone, it might not be very good for her. So what I wanted to do was get her somewhere where she can warm up and be safe.
The woman has no idea where she lives, but for her own safety, James can't leave her on the pavement.
You seem quite drunk.
Yeah, I'm a bit drunk.
OK.
So, after...
Yeah, who is he to you?
My man.
Your man. OK, so you live together?
All right. No.
Drew's not getting much more sense out of the woman's partner.
What's happened?
We had a drink at my daughter's, right?
Step off the road for me, I don't want you getting run over.
I'm trying to get her home, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get her home. But she
Don't
won't
drop
get
stuff
up.
on you.
I'm trying to get her up. She won't get up.
Oh, right, okay.
I'm trying to get her home. That's all I want to do is get her home.
Is she a bit drunk?
Yeah.
I think he was trying, in a perhaps strange gentlemanly sense, to get her to safety, but was incapable of doing it himself.
Do you want to lift home?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Please.
Yeah.
I want to go home now.
You want to go home? Tell me your home address, perhaps we can help you with that. We're on Victoria Road. Where are you from here?
I want to go home now.
Do you feel able to stand up? Should we get you over to our car? Because I'm concerned that you might have been out here for quite a while. Yeah. Come on. Stagger this way.
Drew eventually gets the woman's address from her partner.
Police car.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go in a police car.
But she's not keen on the mode of transport.
You don't want to go in a police car? Well, how are we supposed to get you home then? Watch your head. Are you concerned about her?
Once we've gone out to people, once we've had that point of contact with them, well, then we've got a duty of care. We have to deal with it through to its conclusion. So it can be frustrating sometimes if you've got colleagues who are in trouble elsewhere or need further officers, and because these people can't control themselves to the point where they manage their own levels of drink, we're now taken up dealing with that.
James has a few words of advice for the woman's partner.
If she's lying in the street, in the wet, and you're concerned about her well-being, you call an ambulance. You weren't going to carry her, were you?
It's not the first
Otherwise you would have
time,
done.
is it?
Well, she's paralytic drunk.
Yeah.
Okay, what lesson could be learned here if this has happened before? Perhaps you shouldn't get that drunk. Perhaps you
Yeah,
should
I
try and
know.
stop that. Because you're quite drunk yourself, aren't you, chap?
I have had a few drinks.
Yeah.
Yes, and
So
I have...
if you can't handle that much drink, don't drink.
What? You tell her that.
Okay.
I'm all right because I can walk.
Okay. So you can walk.
I can walk.
So walk on your way, chap, and we'll get her home, all right?
Which I am going to now.
Okay, well, you can meet us there.
Thank you. At least I'll get her home.
Surprisingly, the woman who lay on the road for hours only lives around the corner. But there's another problem.
You don't know where your key is. Do you want us to have a look?
Come on.
The woman's too drunk to know where her key is. And if the cops can't get her inside her house, they're stuck with her.
Whereabouts do you usually keep it inside your handbag? Anywhere. Helpful. Negative.
Fortunately, her drunk partner arrives and opens the door.
Look at that. Here we are. We're inside now.
That's my house.
Over the curb, step.
She isn't real.
That's all right. Step.
James and Drew have now spent nearly half an hour helping the couple.
I'm just going to sit her down on the sofa, pal. Yeah. We've got them both home. We've given them some advice to get her warmed up, and hopefully they'll be okay from here.
Thank you very much.
Good night.